It says something about the fractious nature of the current debate over same-sex marriage that we can almost look back fondly to the good old days of the Cooper's marriage video. You know, the one where two pollies with opposing views disagreed so happily over a beer. How tame it was. A tip of the hat to an Australia we like to think we are. Apparently we're not that place anymore. How swiftly retribution was heaped on the family brewing company. Apparently, an unwitting participant. Boycotts. Accusations. A social media storm. How swift the corporate response as this Christian family company signed on to the yes case. Perhaps not an outcome the Bible Society anticipated. From the bullying of Coopers, to the criticism of IBM for daring to employ an executive with Christian convictions, through to the dismissal of a children's party worker because of a Facebook post in favor of the no case, this social experiment was never going to go well. One thing this debate is not about is love. I've spoken to people afraid to reveal their no vote in workplaces that have adopted a yes policy. A woman in a professional firm said it's as if her co-workers have been given permission to ridicule her faith. Another tells of an executive in a major bank who attends meetings for which "how are we advancing the yes case" is a regular agenda item. What chance does he have of acting according to his conscience? He's no better off than Labour MPs who won't get a conscience vote in the next parliament. They don't have much of a future if they speak out. LGBTI Australians suffer inequality, bullying and worse, in families, workplaces and in the community. But please, let's not diminish their cause by excusing attacks on people of faith. Hatred expressed against another person because of attributes such as sexuality, gender, marital status or religious belief is always wrong. That's where the yes case has sold its own side short. Love is a cynical misrepresentation of an issue that runs deep. I am invited to turn concern for LGBTI friends into a simple proposition: just say yes and all will be well. If anyone thought that redefining marriage would bring more love into the community, they were sorely mistaken. It would also be wrong to dismiss the significant strides made in recent decades to identify the causes of sexuality and gender discrimination and deal with them. The NSW Parliament passed significant reforms broadening the definition of de facto relationship to include same-sex couples in 1999. A research paper prepared by the NSW Parliamentary Library at the time noted an ideological divide among rights groups. Gay and lesbian rights organizations do not favor the marriage model, which will create a hierarchy of relationships within the gay and lesbian community. It is argued by some lesbians and gay men that they should not buttress the legitimacy of marriage, an inherently patriarchal institution that has oppressed women for centuries, some feminists argue, by seeking to become part of it. The report notes. Where are these radicals today? Now, it's about legitimacy. Pro-yes Liberal MP Tim Wilson recently told me on Open House that same-sex marriage would represent the ultimate conservative victory, that you actually have people outside of traditional sexual norms saying we want to be stable, committed and let's face it a little bit boring just like the rest of you. As comforting as that may seem, does it really help those outside the very small number who can or want to marry? In Canada, less than 1% of marriages are same-sex. One of the saddest things recently has been to hear young LGBTI people say they resent having to vote in order to validate themselves. To the extent they have been allowed to think they are only validated by access to one particular type of ceremony is sad and cruel. We must never let people believe their personal worth comes from their marital status, sexuality, gender or any other attribute. Christians believe everyone's value derives directly from their humanity. We are made in the image of a loving God. It is for this reason that I must love my neighbor. This is non-negotiable and completely independent of their sexuality or marital status. This behoves us to respect difference, including difference of opinion, and argue respectfully. Instead of filling social media with hate, we should take time to really listen and inform ourselves properly about the issues. Every Australian has been asked an opinion and each one has the right to come to their own conclusion, without duress or fear of retribution. For my part, I cannot be convinced that the Parliament that brought us this unguided and unloving debate can be relied upon to guarantee, when all is said and done, that the enmity will not continue afterwards. Why is there no adequate discussion addressing religious freedom concerns? Where are the moderate voices trying to negotiate a middle course?